British burglar says sorry with flowers.
Killer sentenced to die for second time.
Credit card thief signs own name.
The impatient inmate.
Paperboy steals truck to speed up deliveries.
Criminals with big plans, small car.
Grayson, California, USA. An inmate who was just a day away from being released from jail fled from the county prison on Thursday, according to the Grayson Sheriff's Department. When Bob Newton, 32, saw a gate that had been opened for a truck, he couldn't resist the opportunity to escape. Deputy Roijendar Singh saw Newton run through the gate and disappear into a cornfield. Newton is being pursued by a canine unit, a helicopter, deputies, and the California Highway Patrol. Newton had been serving a 5-day sentence for a misdemeanor reckless driving charge. When caught, Newton could now face up to a year in state prison.
Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Malaysian police reported on Tuesday that 2 armed robbers stole a car, then hijacked a security van with $1.3 million inside. However, the robbers encountered a problem when they tried to transfer the money to their getaway car. The car the robbers had stolen was a compact car. It was so small that it could not carry all of the cash, and the robbers were forced to abandon more than half of it.
Rosario, Argentina. Argentine police didn't have much of a challenge finding a man accused of using a stolen credit card. The man used the credit card, then signed his own name to the receipts. The credit card was reported stolen from an unlocked apartment last month. According to the police, Alfredo Ramirez, 21, had used the credit card to buy a cappuccino at a coffee house and to buy milk and cereal at a grocery store. The next time he tried to use the stolen card, it was declined and seized. Ramirez has been charged with 3 counts of unauthorized use of a credit card.
When traveling in cities, I used to worry about being pickpocketed. Then I learned how pickpockets do it. That taught me how to prevent it from happening to me.
So how do they do it?
Well, to begin with, they look for someone on the street who has stopped to look at buildings or people. That's one of the reasons tourists are an easy mark.
Then what happens?
The pickpocket will often pretend to bump into the victim by accident. He might act as if he's dizzy. He may ask you where you're from, act really friendly, and try to shake your hand.
Then what?
At this point, he might pretend to lose his balance and fall against you, like this.
Then what?
That's it. You've let your guard down, and consequently, he's nabbed your wallet.
Are you kidding? Come on, my wallet couldn't possibly be stolen that easily.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Then what's this in my hand?
My wallet!
Thanks for coming to our Safety Tips seminar today. This short class will give you important tips and tools for maintaining your personal safety. One of the easiest and most important things you can do to prevent yourself from being mugged is to keep valuables out of sight. Expensive watches, rings, and necklaces make you an easy mark. They are like an invitation to a mugger. I recommend leaving these things at home to prevent them from being nabbed. However, if you must wear them, make sure that they are covered by your clothing until you arrive at your destination. I had been wearing an expensive watch earlier in the day. I took it off before leaving home. Whenever possible, travel with at least one other person. When a person is walking down a street on their own, they are more likely to become a target. Another extremely important and basic way of staying safe is to stay alert. Always remain aware of your surroundings and don't let your guard down. While I walked here today, I was taking constant, quick glances around. This gives you the chance to recognize people or situations around you that are potentially unsafe. If you feel unsafe, quickly walk to a well-populated area and, if necessary, get help. Whenever you can, avoid unfamiliar locations. If you must travel through an area you aren't familiar with, become familiar with it. Before I came here today, I had never been to this part of town. So before I left my house, I mapped out the route to get here. I also made sure to find out the location of the local police station. You might also consider taking a self-defense class. I took a self-defense class last year, and as a result, I feel more confident about my ability to protect myself. In fact, while I was taking the class, someone actually tried to mug me. I say tried because, thanks to the class, he didn't succeed.
One. Thanks for coming to our safety tip seminar. 2. This class will give you important tips. 3. To prevent yourself from being mugged, keep valuables out of sight. 4. Don't let your guard down. 5. I must travel to an unfamiliar area.
Crime puzzles.
The case of the stolen jewels. Detective Combs was at the coffee shop around the corner when he learned that Jones's jewelry had been broken into. He arrived at the scene of the burglary in moments. Mr. Jones, the owner of the store, explained what had happened. I arrived this morning to open up the shop. As I walked up to my store, I noticed a lot of broken glass on the pavement. I looked up and realized that the display window had been broken. Combs looked out the broken window at the sidewalk, littered with glass. Mr. Jones continued. Then I saw that all of the jewelry from the display window was gone. The doors were still locked, so this must be where the burglar broke in. Why didn't the alarm go off? Asked Combs. It's a strange coincidence, said Mr. Jones. I removed our old alarm system yesterday and made an appointment to have a new one installed today. Combs looked around at the empty jewelry cases. I assume your jewelry was insured? Of course, said Mr. Jones. Thank goodness for that. Combs nodded and said, Mr. Jones, I believe there was a crime indeed, and it was committed by you. What crime does Combs suspect Mr. Jones of committing? Why?
The case of the bowling alley murder. The Center Street bowling alley, the oldest bowling alley in the city, closed at midnight. At 4 a.m., the janitor found a terrible sight. A man with a knife in his back lying in one of the lanes. Detective Combs quickly arrived at the scene with a swarm of police officers. "Anybody know the victim?" asked Combs. "I do," said one of the officers. "That's Bob Reynolds. He's running for councilman. He and Mike Jenner have been having a bitter campaign battle." "Perhaps we should pay Mr. Jenner a visit," said Combs. Before leaving the bowling alley, Combs took his cell phone out of his pocket and left it behind. On arriving at Mike Jenner's house, Colmes told Jenner, "I have some grim news. Bob Reynolds has been murdered." "No, I can't believe it," cried Jenner. "We'd like to speak with you about the murder, but first I need to get back to the police station to file the report. Can you meet me at the station?" "Of course. I'll help in any way I can." "I'll give you a call." Colmes patted his pocket. "Uh-oh, I must have left my cell phone at the bowling alley. Would you mind picking it up and bringing it with you to the station?" Jenner looked confused, but said, "Sure, I'll do anything to help with the investigation." Later that day, Jenner brought Colmes's cell phone to the station. He was arrested and charged with murder. Why?
Answers. The case of the stolen jewels. Detective Colmes suspects that Mr. Jones took the jewelry himself and pretended that there had been a burglary so he could collect insurance money. The broken window is Colmes's clue. If someone had broken into the store, the broken glass should have been on the inside of the shop. Since it was outside the shop, the window must have been broken from inside. The case of the bowling alley murder. Detective Colmes never told Mr. Jenner in which bowling alley the murder took place. Yet Mr. Jenner knew which bowling alley to go to for Colmes's phone. Mr. Jenner must have known where the murder took place because he was there.